Right, let's get these weights off here. And the wood. Right, let's see. We finally got these done. There's the tiniest little bit here still missed, but all of these are now, yeah, they're all done. All good. Okay, so the last, oh no, we said we're going to leave that there. I might just put a little bit of it, I might just do that patch, because I've got to do this tiniest little bit here I've missed there. Trouble with leaving stuff like that is it'll catch and then it'll pull and then it'll rip. And, you know, you want to make sure your edges are nice and tight and done. But this has done a good job so far. So I think we can sort of end this little project. I'm going to just refill in these letters because they've kind of worn off a little bit, but also they were never done that well because the pen I did have was quite old. So we're going to give this a little spruce up. In sailing, especially dinghies, there are some jobs that you do and you hope that they last for a long while. And there are some jobs you just concede that you have to kind of do every season or every winter maybe. This is one of those jobs I think that I just take 10 or 20 minutes and it's just going to get done at the end or beginning of every season. There you go. So that's one side done. We've got the other side here to do. And then this will look really nice, won't it, when it's done? Oh, just caught that bit there. There we go. Beautiful. I love it. All ready for another season. So, this is my new electric bilge pump. And this is a Whale Supersub 650. It's the smallest one I could find. And I've had it, I bought it about a month ago. And I have not yet checked it, tested it out. So I'm going to put that down there and bring you over here just for 2 ticks. This is my power supply. I can set, it's basically 2 power supplies. If you're an electronics guy like me, these are like one of the first things you need. You can set any voltage and any ampage, obviously up to the limits of the machine. So I've set this, and what I can do is I can set the amps. So if you set that to 0, and then we actually switch this on, you'll see that the appliance is drawing zero volts and 0 current. Now, if we then keep it on and then we put it to 1, you'll see it started working, and there it is working. So what I wanted to do is just see. So 12 volts and 1 amp, it's not even able to work at 12 volts. And look, that's the sort of pour you get. Oh, now, I haven't got my hose. I left it on the boat. But that's pretty good, isn't it? And that's running at a very low rate. So let's now put the voltage at the ampage at 2. Look at that. That's brilliant. 2 amps. Now we're going to try and see what happens If we go 2.1, that's 2.3. That's brilliant, isn't it? I'm really pleased with that. Switch that off a minute. Let's just check the voltage that it... I thought it was supposed to go up to 5 amp. 12 volt DC, open flow. So it goes up to 13.6 volts. However, this battery over here, the lithium ion, is a classic lithium ion. So that will only go... Well, it goes up to about 12.5 volts, but it only really, its nominal voltage is about 11, is it 11.6? Something like that. Let me just work that out. 3.7 times 3 is 11.1. So it goes, yeah, so, you know, so that's a good test, running about 12 volts. Let's switch it on again, but this time, let's change the voltage to 11 volts. There we go. So I know I'm going to have 11 volts in the battery, and that runs at about 2 amps. So I'm now going to put it up to 13 volts. Ready? Oh, not 30. Put 13. And then we can change the amps as well now. So that's 2.4 amps. Oh, look at that. That's one hell of a pump. I don't want to push it any further, but that's brilliant, isn't it? I'm really impressed with that. I thought that these bilge pumps sort of just went like that, but actually that's got one hell of a kick on it, hasn't it? So I wonder if that's got a shouting chance of emptying the boat, you know, when it's full of water. It's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting. So this is my fish finder, or depth sounder as I would call it. Let's bring you up there a bit. Start again. So this is my fish finder or depth finder. I'm really chuffed with it actually so far. The tests have proven it works quite well. And I've got my little case around it. Now, the case is really because I just didn't want to rely, if you can see, I didn't want to rely on that tiny, tiny little hole to have a little bit of thread on it, and then you chuck it over the side. So the case serves as that purpose to hold this upright. It doesn't quite fit. It's got a little bit of give inside, but it's strong enough to know it's going to be fine. It's got 5 really good screws all around, so it's not going to come apart. And then what I did, I tested it by putting some string there so I could hold on to it, and then letting that float, and it floats nice and upright. Now, the problem I've got is when the boat is moving. So someone just mentioned this, said just be careful with these, they're great, but when you chuck them over the side and the boat is moving, what will happen, that'll get tugged and this will get pulled along like this. So of course, instead of measuring directly down to there, it's now measuring over here, so it will say that the depth is slightly more than it really is. So there's a few ways around this. First of all, you could just stop, but that is quite annoying when you're in your boat, isn't it, and you're sailing. You know, if you're in the motor, maybe you could stop, but it's annoying anyway just to stop the boat, you know. You might be in a tidal stream. You could be doing 3 or 4 knots in a tidal stream, so that might not help anyway. Or you could somehow fix this. So my first idea was to fix this to the boat somewhere. But if you fix it to the boat, it's got to be accessible, because you might need to charge it up. It might have a problem. You've got to switch it on and off. So I came up with this idea. I've just got a little bit of pole I've got spare. I drilled a hole in the bottom of it, and I reckon we could get a nice stainless steel screw. Hopefully that screw is not too long. It's going to split the pole. And I'm going to just screw that into there. There we go. So of course this pole will be varnished and epoxied, whatever it needs, okay? But look, now I'm going to have to stand you a little bit further away from me. So now I can hold that over the side of the boat and hold it the right depth. Now if we could find somewhere on the boat we could actually put that, so we could slide it up and down, you know, then all the better. But we won't be able to do that till we go to the boat. But there's a really good system, you know, that I think will work. So version 1 didn't work, 2-hour print. Version 2 was I printed much better quality and actually by all intents and purposes fits well, but I couldn't just deal with that being not quite long enough. So I took another print today and that one goes right down. So now I can lock that with a pin here. So it'll just stop it from twizzling, which would be nice. For those of you that are interested, when you print something like this, you need to print with what's called a raft. So that not only sticks this to the bottom of the printer properly, but it should also come off quite easily. Now I've also got a little bit of support structure in here, and if you print that just to help as it prints that curve, and if you print that in the same filament as so you can sometimes print that in dissolvable filament, but that requires using the dual nozzle. It's very slow, so I just print it in the same material. But if you print it in a very particular pattern, it'll come off quite easily. So there you go, just needs a little bit of filing and sanding, and then that, I'm really pleased with that. That's brilliant, isn't it? There we go. And then we can go that all the way through. So we'll see how that works out. But that's one little paddle handle, which is going to be brilliant, because on my sea trips when I've been paddling, I've been using that a bit more than I dare admit, and I've been getting blisters on my hands. So yeah, that's going to be a welcome addition to the boat.